There are common medications prescribed to millions of seniors that have now been scientifically linked to memory loss, brain shrinkage, and even an increased risk of dementia. And if no one tells you about them, you won't even know what's robbing your mind until it's too late. Next up, we are going beyond the pill bottle label. We'll explore 9 specific medications that can silently sabotage your memory, the science behind how they affect your brain, and what you can do to protect yourself or your loved ones, starting today. Are you ready? 1. First-generation antihistamines. When treating allergies, they accidentally impair memory. Diphenhydramine, a typical representative of the first-generation H1 antihistamine group, has long been widely used in the treatment of allergies, colds, insomnia, and nausea. However, in addition to the antihistamine effect, these drugs also have strong anticholinergic activity, directly affecting neurotransmission in the central nervous system, especially inhibiting the activity of acetylcholine, an important transmitter in the process of memory and learning. Acetylcholine plays a key role in the activity of the hippocampus, the center that coordinates memory. Prolonged inhibition of the cholinergic system, even without immediate symptoms, can disrupt the process of memory encoding, new memory formation, and lead to silent cognitive decline over time. Clinical recommendations. Avoid prescribing or using first-generation antihistamines in older adults, especially as a sleep aid. Review over-the-counter, OTC, medications regularly, as diphenhydramine is commonly found in many cold and nighttime sleep products. Consider safer alternatives, example loratadine, fexofenadine, second generation, less CNS depressants. Always explain to patients and their families the perceived risks associated with long-term use of even over-the-counter medications. 2. Benzodiazepines. Sleep is traded for forgetfulness. Benzodiazepines, BZDs, are a group of psychotropic drugs widely used to treat anxiety, insomnia, seizures and muscle spasms, with common representatives such as diazepam, Valium, alprazolam, Xanax, lorgepam, Ativan, or clonazepam, Klonopin. In terms of mechanism, BZDs bind to the GABA receptor, enhancing the effect of the neurotransmitter GABA, the main inhibitory factor in the brain. Although it brings immediate effects in relieving anxiety and improving sleep, this spreading inhibition also causes BZDs to slow down neural activity, especially in areas responsible for memory, thinking and information processing such as the hippocampus and frontal cortex. Clinical recommendations. Benzodiazepines should not be used long-term, 4 weeks, for the treatment of anxiety or insomnia in the elderly. Carefully assess the risk-benefit, especially in patients with a history of cognitive impairment, depression, or polypharmacy. Prioritize non-pharmacological measures, such as cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, for chronic insomnia and anxiety. If BZDs are necessary, select a short half-life, the lowest effective dose, and plan for early discontinuation. Monitor for signs of memory impairment, sleep disturbance, or behavioral changes during treatment. 3. Proton pump inhibitors, PPIs. When stomach medicines silently harm the brain. Proton pump inhibitors, PPIs, such as omeprazole, esomeprazole, lansoprazole, pantoprazole are the mainstay in the treatment of gastroesophageal reflux disease, GERD, peptic ulcers, and Zolling-Releason syndrome. They work by irreversibly inhibiting the H+K+ ATPase pump in parietal cells, significantly reducing gastric acid secretion. However, long-term PPI abuse common in the elderly has been shown to be associated with a number of non-gastrointestinal consequences, including neurological damage and cognitive impairment, which are of growing concern. Clinical recommendations. Avoid long-term PPI use, 8 weeks, unless clearly indicated, such as Barrett's esophagus. Zollinger-Delissen syndrome. Recurrent NSAID-induced peptic ulcer. Consider discontinuation or dose reduction in elderly patients taking PPIs long-term without recent gastrointestinal symptoms. Periodically monitor vitamin B12 and magnesium levels if PPI use is 1 year. Advise appropriate nutrition, supplement foods rich in B4. Antipsychotics, behavioral intervention or potential mortality risk in people with dementia. Antipsychotics, a double-edged sword in the treatment of behavioral disorders. Antipsychotics, especially the second-generation group, atypical antipsychotics, such as risperidone, quetiapine, olanzapine, are often prescribed to control behavioral and psychiatric symptoms in patients with dementia, agitation, paranoia, hallucinations, aggression, or severe insomnia. Although short-term effectiveness may be evident, there is growing evidence that the use of antipsychotics in older people with dementia is associated with many serious risks, including more severe cognitive impairment and increased mortality. Clinical recommendations. Avoid long-term antipsychotic prescribing in people with dementia unless specifically indicated. Prefer non-pharmacological interventions to manage behavioral disturbances. Monitor closely for signs of cognitive decline, motor and cardiovascular side effects. Reassess every 4 weeks and attempt to taper discontinue medication if possible. Educate family members and caregivers about side effects. 5. Z-drugs, the price of artificial sleep when brain fog is a consequence, not a symptom. Sleep is controlled, but the brain is ignored. Z-drugs, including zolpidem, zopiclone, esopiclone, zaleplon, are a group of non-benzodiazepine sleeping pills with a similar mechanism of action, often used in the treatment of short-term insomnia or initial difficulty sleeping. They work by binding to GABA receptors, alpha-1 subunit group, helping to inhibit excessive nerve activity and create a feeling of sleep quickly. However, unlike classic benzodiazepines, Z-drugs mainly cause sleep but rarely cause daytime sedation, so they are preferred by many doctors to prescribe. However, the more research appears, the clearer it becomes, Z-drugs are not as harmless as thought, especially for the elderly. 1. Impact of disrupting biological rhythms and brain wave structure. As a result, after a night of good sleep with medication, the patient wakes up with a state of brain fog, tired, slow, difficult to concentrate, difficult to remember names, even temporary confusion. 2. Link to dementia, an underestimated risk. Stronger impact in people over 75 years old, people with long-term sleep disorders or underlying diseases, diabetes, hypertension. In addition, Z-drugs also cause reduced motor reflexes, increased risk of falling at night, spatial disorientation, especially in unfamiliar environments, hospitals, nursing homes, mild addiction, psychological dependence on the drug to sleep. 3. Cases of nighttime confusion due to Z-drugs. A notable phenomenon is complex sleep behavior. Patients get out of bed, walk, eat, drive, without clear awareness. When waking up, they do not remember anything, amnesia. This condition is common in people taking zolpidem doses of 10 mg or more. This is especially dangerous in the elderly, people who are prone to falling, disorientation and are taking many other drugs that affect GABA. Do not prescribe Z-drugs to people with a history of confusion, dementia, falls, or who are taking benzodiazepines. Prefer non-pharmacological therapies. Cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, CBTI. Control light, noise, and bedroom temperature. Do gentle exercise during the day, avoid long naps. If use is necessary, start with the lowest possible dose, example zolpidem 2.6 tricyclic antidepressants, TCS bittersweet therapy when mood improvement comes at the expense of confusion. Tricyclic antidepressants, TCAs, such as amitriptyline, nortriptyline, imipramine, doxepin have been the backbone of depression treatment since the 1950s. Today, although they have been somewhat replaced by more modern drug classes, such as SSRIs, SNRIs, TCAs are still used for indications such as chronic neuropathic pain, anxiety disorders, insomnia, irritable bowel syndrome, tension-type headaches or prophylactic migraines. However, TCAs are not a safe choice in the elderly largely due to their strong anticholinergic effects, which have been shown to be associated with cognitive impairment and an increased risk of dementia. Choose a drug with fewer anticholinergic effects if necessary. Nortriptyline may be safer than amitriptyline. Doxepin at very low doses, 3 to 6 mg, is FDA approved for insomnia and has lower risks. Assess overall anticholinergic load, especially when the patient is taking multiple medications, polypharmacy. Monitor closely for signs of cognitive impairment. 7. Bladder control drugs. When protecting the bladder, it damages memory. Bladder control drugs, especially anticholinergics, such as oxybutynin, tolterodine, solifenacin, have been widely used to treat dysfunctional bladder disorders such as urinary incontinence, urgency, nocturia. Urinary incontinence due to neurological disorders such as Parkinson's disease, stroke, multiple sclerosis. Although the effectiveness of these drugs in reducing the symptoms of urinary incontinence is clear, an important issue is their potential adverse effects on cognitive function, especially 8. Statins. Do cholesterol-lowering drugs affect the brain? Statins are a common class of drugs used to lower cholesterol and reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease. They help lower LDL, low-density lipoprotein, cholesterol, known as bad cholesterol, and help prevent strokes, heart attacks, and other vascular diseases. But while the cardiovascular benefits of statins are clear, there is a notable question: does lowering cholesterol have a negative impact on the brain? Monitoring cognitive function. For patients taking statins, especially older adults, regular monitoring of cognitive function is important. If there are signs of cognitive decline, your doctor may need to adjust or change your treatment regimen. Low-dose statins. In people at high risk for cardiovascular disease but without cognitive problems, low-dose statins may help reduce potential side effects. Explore alternative treatments. If the side effects of statins are intolerable, alternative treatments such as ezetimibe or PCSK9 inhibitors may be considered, as they do not lower brain cholesterol. Conclusion. Statins are an important class of drugs for treating cardiovascular disease, but lowering brain cholesterol may affect cognitive function and neuronal communication. This is particularly concerning in older adults who already have signs of cognitive decline. Statin use should be carefully considered, and patients should be closely. 9. Combined anticholinergics, synergistic effects on cognitive function. Anticholinergics are a class of drugs that inhibit the action of acetylcholine, an important neurotransmitter in the brain. Acetylcholine plays an important role in learning, memory, and attention. Therefore, the use of anticholinergics, especially over a long period of time, can cause cognitive impairment, especially in the elderly. Combined anticholinergics can have a synergistic effect, reducing cognitive function and increasing the risk of brain diseases, especially in the elderly. Therefore, the management and monitoring of the use of these drugs is extremely important to protect brain health. Physicians should consider carefully when prescribing anticholinergics, especially when patients. Thus, the use of anticholinergic drugs, especially when combined with multiple drugs, can cause serious negative effects on cognitive function, especially in the elderly. These drugs can cause memory loss, confusion, and increase the risk of cognitive disorders such as Alzheimer's disease. Therefore, Drug management and monitoring are extremely important to protect brain health. Doctors and patients need to be cautious in using anticholinergic drugs and choose appropriate alternative treatments to minimize side effects. Hopefully, this article has helped you better understand anticholinergic drugs and their effects on cognition. If you have any questions or would like to discuss this topic further, please do not hesitate to contact us. Thank you for reading and caring about this important health issue.